So anybody that know me know I done had probably about well over 30 jobs since I've been working, which I started when I was like 14. I started when I was 14, but I moved to Atlanta in 2016 after I finished my bachelor's degree, right? So I had a paper route in Atlanta where I had to work from like midnight, and I usually got done between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m., right? But it was 7 days a week. It was great money because I got paid like $700 per week for 30 hours of work. Because it was no traffic during them times. So then I'll just get through my paper route super quick with like 3-4 hours. So I go grab my papers and then I'll start my paper route. Y'all, I just got to Atlanta. I do not know these areas like that. Y'all want to know what my paper route was? Keep in mind, I'm working midnight to like 3 in the morning. The worst time for all the freaks to come out at night, and crazy stuff just happen every time I go out and do my work. So they have my paper route. I start in Vine City, go down, what is it, Joseph E. I forgot, Lowry maybe? Joseph E. Lowry over there, by Morehouse, by Spelman. I had to stop at Spelman actually. And then I had to go down to Cleveland Avenue and Metropolitan Parkway. After I go from over there, Campbellton Road, and then I go over there by Cascade Road. So it was kind of cool. But me not knowing those areas, I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking out for. When I tell y'all, I go to these, I'm in and out the store in like 2 minutes, right? So I done had different cars. I either had a rental or I had my own car. But I never really turned my car off when I was doing my paper route. And keep in mind, I'm in those areas. At like midnight with nobody outside the store except for the homeless people begging for change or some money or some food or something. So it was one time, it was a couple times where some crazy stuff happened, but it was just one time. I want to say it was like New Year's Eve. It still wasn't a lot of traffic, but it was like New Year's Eve. So it was already crazy that night. And I didn't want to work because I'm like, this is the holiday. We shouldn't, who finna buy a newspaper and read it on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? Like everybody in the house chilling or celebrating. So I start my paper route, and then it's a blackout on Campbellton Road. I'm getting through my paper route. I get to Campbellton Road. It is a blackout. Pitch black on Campbellton Road. I got like 3 stores I gotta stop at on this street. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe the street lights just not working. But then as I'm going down the street, I'm like, I don't see no gas stations with no lights on. I don't see no businesses with no lights on. So it's a blackout. These folks don't got no power. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm already over here. Maybe I can still just knock on the door. Somebody got to be here. They ain't know it was going to be a blackout. So somebody should be in the store to take these newspapers. So I get to my store. I hop out. I got my flashlight on my phone on. I didn't turn my car off. So when I pulled up to the store, I had my car headlights facing the front door. So I could see just that area right there in front of the front door. So if somebody come try to run up by the door, I'll see them. So get out my car, go knock on the door. As I'm walking to the door, all I hear is, So you on Campbellton Road at 2 in the morning, pitch black, all you hear is, I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh, no, yeah, this job ain't gonna get done today. So I knock on the door, like, wait a second. I'm like, if don't nobody come to this door, I know they going and I'm about to leave. So I knock on the door and I see a head pop out from behind the cash register. So whoever was working there was laying down behind the cash register. Because that's the prime time for people to be trying to loot and run in your stuff. Because can't nobody see nothing. So he was scared. He was like, no, we closed, we closed. I hold up the newspaper like, man, come get these papers so I can go. So then he come unlock the door. I hand him the papers. And he give me the old papers and I leave. So now I'm riding down the street. I cannot see. So I hit like an island in the middle of the street. Now I got a flat tire. In the pitch black on Campbellton Road. So then I turn to get to Cascade Road. I make a couple turns to get to Cascade Road. The tire is already flat. The tire was flat as soon as I hit it. So all you hear is doot, doot, doot. I'm just wobbling down the street till I see some light. I am not getting out the car on Campbellton Road and it's pitch black. So I finally got somewhere I could see some light on the side street. It started raining. So now I just came from a pitch black situation. Now it's raining. I got to change my car tire. And it was a rental. It was a rental. So I had to change the rental tire. I was praying it was a spare tire in there, which it was. So then I'm outside the car watching YouTube videos of how to change this tire in the rain. So then all that happened, and I go to my next store. This store got like a grumpy, older, he real short, but like an older Indian type of guy. Somewhere around there, that's what he is. So I get to that store, they got lights, so we cool. But he be having an attitude. When I tell you, every time I walk in that store, he be arguing with all his customers. So I didn't know this until I started doing this paper route, that the gas stations got a button they can press to lock the door. Like if somebody try to steal something, they can lock the door, they can lock you in there till the police come. I'm like, that's really not a good idea, because they just tear your store up until you let them out, or till the police come. Now they did more damage. So I go in there, drop his newspapers, because I'm trying to stay on schedule. I'm trying not to work too many hours for the money I'm getting paid. So I drop the newspapers and turn around. He got like a line of 5 people in his gas station. I drop the newspapers, turn around. He like, hey, banging on his door, because he behind a bulletproof glass. He banging on the glass like, hey, talking to me like, come back here. I'm like, what? Because I'm listening to music in one of my ears. So I'm like, what? Like, we don't got nothing to talk about. So he like, count these papers. Count them in front of him. Like, 1, 2, this what you got. I'm like, no, you know what you had. You know what you're supposed to get. It's on the paper. If it don't match the paper, write it don't match the paper and give it back to me when I come next time. He didn't want to do that. He just wanted to tell somebody what to do. So he's standing there. He done locked the door. He pressed the button to lock me in the store. He like, no, come back here and count these papers. I was like, man, if you don't let me out this door. I stood there and looked at him. He was standing there looking at me like, I'm like, all right, I'm about to get out this door one way or another. And I tell you, I start donkey kicking that door. I kicked that door like 3 times. Boom, let me out. Boom, let me. He finally let me out, pressed the button, let me out. I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't get fired for this. Cause something just click and I'll be forgetting I'm at work. But it's like, bruh, you ain't have to do all that. We know your order right. You just trying to be petty and waste people's time. So then I had to call my supervisor. I'm like, okay, I'm just letting you know the situation happened. Just in case he try to call and tell you something different, you already heard from me the real situation of what happened. So that was just like a mark against me, but it didn't keep me from losing my job, because I did my job well and I did it fast.